Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our channel. Oklahoma City, USA is a dynamic city with a blend of urban excitement and Midwestern charm, home to major sports teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and a high-octane crime rate. Case of Kirsten Hatfield.
911, what's your emergency?
My daughter, I woke up this morning and she's not in her bed, she's missing.
Is one of the most disturbing crimes that happen in Oklahoma. Let's look at the tragic and puzzling case of Kirsten Hatfield, a young girl who went missing in Oklahoma City. Kirsten was born in Oklahoma County on February 12, 1989 to Shannon Hatfield. Shannon quickly became a single mother, therefore nothing is known about Kirsten's father. Kirsten and her sister Faith were reared up by her mother and lived with their relatives. Shannon, a second grader at Traub Elementary School in Midwest City, Oklahoma, tucked Kirsten and Faith into bed in 1997. Kirsten, on the other hand, vanished from her room the next morning. Shannon went back to sleep despite her first suspicions that it was Faith speaking, a mistake she would come to regret forever. Shannon phoned the police after Kirsten went missing the next morning, anticipating the worst. Shannon explained her 8-year-old daughter's absence during the 911 call, emphasizing that she had never left the house on her own before. The police started an inquiry, but no strange sounds were reported. Kirsten had fled from her room throughout the night, leaving the police in a race against the clock to find her. Kirsten's room was located with a little blunt smear on the windowsill and her pants soiled with blood against the fence. The police were concerned about her imminent safety because she had last been seen at 11:30 p.m. The night before her disappearance had just been reported at 6:30 a.m. The police searched the area, interrogating residents about any sightings or strange activities. Despite hearing dogs barking between 2 and 3 a.m., nothing untoward was discovered. Blood samples from Kirsten's pants and windowsill were taken to the lab for testing, and the findings indicated that the blood did not belong to her, but rather to an unnamed guy. Kirsten's family suffered as a result of the probe, particularly her single mother, Shannon, who had a history of drug misuse. The authorities do not rule out any family members or others with knowledge of her disappearance as potential suspects. Kirsten's identity slipped from public discussion for years, and she became the girl portrayed on missing person flyers. Kirsten's family and the police, on the other hand, never gave up on the case. In June 2015, 18 years after Kirsten vanished, a fresh team took over the inquiry. They decided to resubmit the DNA samples found in the window and Kirsten's pants to the database, hoping that technological advances might result in a match. Detective Daryl Miller and Chief Brandon Cleaves were determined to solve the case. They had a full male DNA profile from the murder site that matched the blood stains on the window and knickers. The DNA samples were initially run through CODIS. They didn't discover an instant match, but they had a list of about 100 males to consider. Anthony Palmer, a 55-year-old neighbor, was one person of interest. He remembered hearing dogs barking about 2 to 3 a.m. on the night Kirsten went missing, but he wasn't originally suspected during the 1997 investigation. Palmer stated that he was at home when Kirsten went missing and that he went to bed at about 2 to 3 a.m. after hearing the dogs howling. He was questioned in 1997 because of his proximity to the Hatfield residence and his purported garden labor for them, which he bizarrely denied. In addition, he denied knowing Kirsten's mother. Investigators decided to return to Palmer in June 2015. His wife alluded to his emotional reaction to Kirsten's abduction, as well as his relationship with the family. Palmer remembered seeing a white Chevy pick up at the Hatfield residence on the day Kirsten went missing. He consented to give a mouth swab DNA sample. Palmer's DNA matched the DNA collected at the crime site. According to the Oregon State Bureau of Investigation, the odds of the match were 1 in 293.6 quintillion. While reviewing the old case file, detectives uncovered contradictions between Palmer's information and the contents of the file. There was no indication that his home had been searched in 1997. This aroused concerns about what may have been discovered if his residence had been extensively investigated at the time. Despite pleading not guilty, he was found guilty and sentenced to life without parole. Despite his conviction, Palmer never disclosed the location of Kirsten's remains. In 2019, he was strangled to death by a cellmate. Kirsten's family expressed forgiveness and hoped for someone to come forward. While Palmer's conviction ended the case, Kirsten's body remains undiscovered. One lead suggested that her remains may be buried in a nearby town, but a search turned up nothing. Kirsten's family showed forgiveness to Palmer with much compassion. They opted not to mourn his death. Instead,
I can't explain it, but we are just floored by this miracle, and we are so...
Hoping that someone else had received information about Kirsten's location and would come forward. We hope that you're drawn to this story as much as we did. If you want to learn more about criminal cases and extraordinary tales, like, subscribe and press the notification bell.